Welcome to a special edition of FanNoise college football talk show. All right, we're going to get into this. It's just me today, just talking to you guys, talking to the FanNoise faithful. We're going to talk, first of all, we're going to talk about the Notre Dame game, Notre Dame Clemson. I'm a huge Notre Dame fan. I thought this team was different. I really did. I thought they were different. They showed me again that when the big audience is there, they didn't come out to play. And when you're playing a team like Clemson, all they needed to do was keep that game close. And it's so frustrating as a Notre Dame fan to see that time and time again. And I'm not on the Brian Kelly fire train. I'm not firing Brian Kelly. I'm not on that because he wins 10 games plus a year. You know, for the people that are like that, you could have a guy like Charlie Weiss again. All right? Think of it like that. But again, he's not prepared for the big moment. He's not prepared for the big game. And it shows. Every year, it shows. Extremely disappointing performance from the Irish as a huge Notre Dame fan. I'm wearing the stuff. I'm still rocking the stuff. This is more of a serious talk because I'm really frustrated with the Irish. But again, to the credit of Clemson, Trevor Lawrence is the best player I've ever seen in college football. It reminds me a lot of Tim Tebow because of how just crazy dominant he was. But this dude is off the chain. It's not even close to the Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence comparison. It's Justin Fields 100%, or it's Trevor Lawrence 100%. No, not even a question. It's not even a question. That Clemson team is real. I believe they are the number one team in the country. And having said that, that's why I would put Notre Dame in the playoff. I think Notre Dame is 100 times better than Cincinnati. I think they're better than Texas A&M and anybody else that are compared. Ohio State's going to get in, and I'm going to talk about them in a little bit. But Notre Dame should get in the playoff despite their performance against Clemson in the ACC championship. I think Clemson is going to run the table again. After seeing what Alabama did against Florida, I think Dabo Swinney's an absolute monumental coach, just like Nick Saban. And I just think they had revenge. I mean, it's hard to beat a team in general, but to beat a team twice in the magnitude of the ACC championship game, Trevor Lawrence and Clemson have been there. They know how to win that game. They do it year in and year out. They win 24/7. It was their time, and they showed. They showed everybody why they were going to be in the college football playoff. Do I think Notre Dame could win the college football playoff? No. Do I think this is one of their best teams that I've seen in a long time? Yes. But Brian Kelly, again, showed that he can't win the big game. They were at home when they beat Clemson last time. You got to remember. It was a 40-something to 40-something game. I don't remember the exact score. I thought Notre Dame handled that game. I thought they had it handily. But Trevor Lawrence wasn't playing. And I at the time, I thought it wasn't a big deal, but I saw today why it was. Ian Book was running for his life. He was rolling out of the pocket. His arm was dead by the end of the game. But knocking Notre Dame, I don't know if that makes sense. I still believe they should be in the college football playoff because I don't think there's a fourth team that would compare to them as far as I think that Notre Dame would beat Cincinnati and beat Texas A&M. Now, what should happen is what we should have saw is a team like Texas A&M playing Alabama for the SEC championship if Texas A&M wanted a shot at the playoff. It shouldn't be the best on each side. It should be the best two teams in the conference playing for the conference championship. That's what I don't understand. And there's a lot of things with the NCAA that needs to change, and that's one of them. If I would have saw Texas A&M play Alabama today after the Notre Dame Clemson game, I would then have a better analysis of who I think should be in, unbiasedly. But Texas A&M played a meaningless game against Tennessee to get another win on their resume. That's just what happened. Smart by them, no doubt. But it's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be interesting to see who gets in. Now moving on to Cincinnati real quick. Yeah, Great team. New Year's Six Bowl. But are they gonna beat Alabama? Are they gonna beat Clemson? Are they gonna beat Ohio State? Are they gonna beat Notre Dame? No, they're not. The one they could possibly put up a fight with is probably Notre Dame, but they would pull that one out. I know they would. With Cincinnati, like same thing as Notre Dame. Do I think they're going to beat Alabama? I think they have a shot. Are they going to beat Clemson? They already did. They just had a horrible showing in the ACC Championship, which will leave a bad taste in the committee's mouth or not. It depends. I think timing was really bad when they lost, how they lost. But I don't think Cincinnati puts up the same fight. I just don't. Texas A&M, they're probably the closest ones I would see over Notre Dame or Ohio State to get in. A&M has a tremendous running back. Kellen Mond's been there forever. He's a good quarterback. They have a great coach, great offense, good defense. But again, do I think they could beat Alabama when they lost by, I don't know the exact score when they played, but I believe they lost by 20-something points. But yeah, it's definitely gonna be interesting to see. Moving on to Ohio State now, I think they should be in the playoff. I don't care how many games they've played. Like Ryan Day said, it's hard to win a championship. It's hard to win in general. Winning a championship, completely different story. Northwestern, Pat Fitzgerald, mark it down. He is one of the best coaches I've ever seen coach football. He brought that program from nothing and made it a great program. They're a pristine program in college football. If you look at the overall record of Northwestern over time, they probably have one of the worst records as far as losses. They used to lose back in the day. They used to have losing seasons left and right consecutively, like a lot of losses, like 2-13 or whatever it was, 2-10. Pat Fitzgerald has created a culture and a program there that a lot of people see as underrated or overrated. Sorry. It's a great program. And they get kids in that are smart and they're sound and disciplined. He is a disciplined football coach and his team is disciplined all the time. Ohio State, they had trouble with him today. But Ohio State's always a second half team. They've always been like that since I've been around and watched them. Their running game finally just exploded, and they kept just beating up on Northwestern. I mean, you've got to capitalize on the mistakes and the punts that are given to you when you're playing a team like Ohio State, and eventually their luck ran out. That's why they lost 22-10, and they couldn't stop the run. Justin Fields wasn't as big of a factor in that game as everyone thought, and I knew that game was going to be closer than everyone was saying. But at the same time, I think the only knock I have on Justin Fields is his decision he makes when he's about to go to the ground. He throws the ball up when he could either just take the sack and trust his ability on the next play or throw it away. Justin Fields, that's the only knock on him. He could run, he could throw, he's accurate. He's got a great team, a great coach. He's going to be fine. And I think Ohio State gets in because I think they're coached well. I think the culture is good enough there to go in and beat a team like Clemson and Alabama. They have a chance. You cannot sit here and tell me that Ohio State or Texas A&M and Cincinnati would beat Ohio State in a big-time bowl atmosphere game when they win consistently in big-time games. You cannot sit there and tell me that. I'm gonna prove you wrong, because you can look back when they were the 4 seed and beat every team with their third-string quarterback and 12-gauge, and they do it every year. That's just Ohio State. That's the culture. I hate to say it. I'm not a huge Ohio State fan. A lot of my friends are, but that's just what it is. Moving on, Florida. Florida gave Alabama all they can handle. I said on the college show that I told Nate he was wrong. I thought Kyle Trask was going to do what he just did. Nate said it was going to be a 44-10 game, something like that. Kyle Trask proved he gave everything he had in that game. He fell to his knees at the end and lost it. Like, he did everything he can for that team. Dan Mullen's a great coach. I just think they need a better defense. They need a better defense. Kyle Pitts is a beast, and they went against the number 1 team in the country in Alabama and took them to the last second. Talking about that game with Alabama now. Alabama, I would put Clemson over Alabama in the college football playoff, I put Clemson at 1, even with that loss to Notre Dame. That's just me personally. But Alabama showed a little bit of weakness today. And their defense going into 2020 was supposed to be Nick Saban's worst defense in his history there at Alabama. But they've done what they needed to do to win games in the SEC. But when it came down to this game, I mean, you saw a great quarterback duel in Mac Jones and Kyle Trask. You saw that, and it was awesome to watch. Mac Jones, I said, is very underrated because, I mean, you see Najee Harris, he throws like the zig routes or the corner routes or the drag routes to his wide receivers and just lets them run. And that's the same thing I would do if I had Devontae Smith and Najee Harris. When Najee Harris caught, what did he catch? He had 4 receiving touchdowns today and 1 rushing. Mac Jones is a great facilitator, but he could also throw the deep ball. And that's something that people don't talk about. I still am a Kyle Trask guy. I think you put Kyle Trask in the Alabama offense, it's completely different. It's shifted different. It's moving different. But Mac Jones is a complete competitor, and he doesn't get talked about enough. So getting down to my prediction here, I think it's Clemson number 1, Alabama number 2, Ohio State number 3, and Notre Dame 4. Now, they might not do that because they're probably not going to want to see Clemson Notre Dame play again. Personally, I would like that. So they're probably going to do Alabama 1, Clemson 2, Ohio State 3, Notre Dame 4. Or they remove Notre Dame from the picture and they put Texas A&M at 5 or at 4 and remove Notre Dame from the playoff, which, like I said, I think they should be in. But the showing there, you never know. I mean, that's the only thing they did not need to do, and they did it. So you got to put the blame on yourselves if you're Notre Dame. But I do not think Cincinnati should be in the playoff. It sucks. I get it. If I was a player on that team, it would suck. You did everything right. But if they had an Indiana on their schedule, if they had an A&M on their schedule, if they had a Florida on their schedule, things might be different. We don't know. But they just don't have that. So, in conclusion here, I see the 4th spot being either A&M or Notre Dame. I think Ohio State gets in. If Ohio State doesn't get in, that would be crazy. That'd be mayhem. I mean, I'd be here for it. I'd be ready to talk about it. But I think they've done just enough to get in. It's not their fault that they didn't play those games. They tried to get as many games as they could. I still think they're an elite team in this country. But yeah, it's going to be those 4. And if it's not, I'll be here to take the heat in the comments. That's fine. You can shit on my Notre Dame team. I get it all the time. I'm here for it. Wear it like armor. But that's my prediction from what I've seen today. And that's it. Clemson, Alabama, Ohio State, Notre Dame, college football playoff. Heard it here first. Stay tuned for the selection show. We're going to come out with the picks, or when the picks are made, we're going to come out and talk about each team, talk about the games. Hopefully you subscribe to YouTube by now. You hit the notification bar. You get all of our YouTube videos right when it's posted. We're on all platforms: Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, TikTok, and follow us on our website, man, FanNoiseSports.com. We really appreciate the support. We're going to be talking to you guys almost every day. There'll be a video posted probably 2-3 times a week. Just all sports content. We got college basketball coming up. We got the MLB predictions coming up. And obviously the NFL playoffs are approaching. College football playoff. It's all here. It's for you guys. FanNoise, we're here. That's my college football predictions and kind of rant on what happened today. And that's all I got for you guys. All right. Subscribe. Follow us on all platforms. FanNoise out.
Lined up in the slot on 4th and 11. Bryant on 4th and 11.